7 lessons learned from running a half marathon. Number one, you never know what you're capable of until you actually put your mind to it. My goodness. Running a half marathon or any long distance race for somebody who's not accustomed to running long distance races, you learn so much about yourself as an athlete, as a runner. When you actually start training for it, it's gonna feel uncomfy. It's gonna be a little difficult. Your toes, they might feel away. Your muscles gonna be looking at you like, bro, what is you doing? Why are you? What is happening? But the more you train, the more your body changes, and the more longer distances that you thought were wild for you to run, 3, 4, 5 miles, those become the short distance runs. If you're training for a half or even a full marathon, or even farther than that, but if you're training to run 34 miles, 5 miles at the beginning of training, if you've never done it before, it's gonna feel like a daunting task. But when you just shut your brain off and run, sure. Number 2, make sure you have some sort of accountability, whether that be another human being who you're training with, or you have a schedule, or you have something that is external from just your emotional feelings about training on a given day, on a given week. Having trained with my wife for this half marathon, it was crucial because there was a sense of accountability. There was a sense of, even when I don't feel like going to run, I know that I'm gonna be doing it with somebody else. I'm gonna be running, I'm not gonna be alone in the training process. And I don't have to think about what we gotta do next. Some people, I know, not just for running, but for fitness in general, if you don't have a clear-cut plan, if you're gonna go to the gym, for example, and you just go and you just basically just bumbling around, you don't really know what to do next, you get a little distracted, you get a little disheartened, and you're like, I'll just go home now. Or, I'll just skip the gym today, it's okay. Having a clear-cut plan takes all of the guesswork out of it, and you spend less time making decisions about what to do next, and more time just doing what needs to get done. Number 3, making sure that your footwear is solid. And when I mean shoes and socks. So I ran with a pair of Adidas. They're amazing. Great long distance shoe, great running shoe in general. Understand your arch. Understand how your foot feels in different types of shoes. Because to be running, and for a half marathon for most runners, it's gonna take you over 2 hours. Yeah, it'll take you 2.5. And for people who are on the slower end, it may take you 3.5 hours. But running nonstop, you better make sure your feet is comfy. Because it also means if your feet are comfortable, then that also means your shins are taken care of, your knees are okay. You won't be worried about the pain of your feet. Rather, you'll be focused on running, having good form, and being consistent and running in rhythm, keeping your stride. You might have a different type of pain. It might be muscle soreness, but it won't be like foot pain. Muscle soreness, it just means you're exercising. But pain, that's a whole different issue. Number 4, I learned the reason why people do these types of events. It's the community aspect of it all. If you're training, maybe you're not a part of a run club or a run group, but if you're training alone, or maybe it's just like you and maybe 2 other people, doing that day in and day out, solid, it's great. But we ran the DC Half Marathon, which had over 8,000 runners. Having that many people with the same goal in mind, which is to run this race and finish this race, it was very inspiring. It shows you ain't the only one that was thinking about doing this. Sometimes in your day-to-day, you can get so caught up in just your independent issues, your independent objectives, the things that only you gotta do, the things that you only think affect your life. But when you're in a race with 8,000 other people, you see, wow, this is pretty dope. It's like you're running for something bigger than yourself. And especially if the race, it supports a charity or a foundation or something like that, you're supporting something, you're a part of something that's bigger than just you. Number 5, I learned the importance of eating while running. So I chose Clif Block Chews. Those worked extremely well for me while running longer distances. I had never, like growing up before running any long distance event, I had never thought about the during nourishment. And I've seen like water stations and stuff for part of long distance races, but I've never actually thought, wait, to have chews and gels and stuff on hand while running for 2 hours, it really didn't cross my mind before doing marathon training. And it is so important. And it was so intriguing seeing people on, different videos and TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, what have you, the different things that people would eat while running. And one of the things that I was very surprised about, there were people who was talking about eating Sour Patch Kids while running. Now think about it. When you're running, you're losing a lot of sugar leaving your body because you're using it for energy. I didn't want the gooey gels because it just didn't sit well with me. Like I don't want a goop. I want something solid. I want something I can chew on. Something that's substantial. Clif Block Chews worked wonders for me. And there's so many different flavors. Lesson number 6. I learned that I actually enjoy listening to podcasts while running long distances versus listening to music. When I'm running for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I prefer to listen to a podcast or even an audiobook because that long form content comes with a story. With music, the lyrics kind of fade away. I just focus on the beat. But with a podcast, I'm only focusing on the words. Ain't no beat, ain't no rhythm. So then I have to think about what's going on. It keeps me a little bit more present versus just my mind just wandering off and doing whatever. It really kept me focused while running. Lesson number 7, I didn't realize how much running in the main event would quicken my pace, which I found out within the first 3 miles was a problem. In a race that size, I don't care if it's just 1,000 people, if it's just 300 people, when you're running with so many people at the same time, I psychologically was thinking, all right, I'm gonna sit here, pace, and then I'm gonna catch these next 5 people who are right in front of me. I'm gonna catch these next 10 people. I'm gonna get to the next line marker before this group of people. No. When you're running for 13.1 miles, you gotta manage your pace. Your pace, not everybody else in the mountain pace. Because here's the thing, with so many people, there are 4,000 people in front of you and 4,000 people behind you. Unless you're at the very front or you're at the very back, if you're in the middle, understand that whatever your pace is, you are running way faster than a whole bunch of other people behind you. And no matter what your pace is, there are so many people running faster than you that are way ahead of you. And that is okay. Run your race. Your race. Because otherwise you're gonna burn yourself out, you're gonna fatigue, and if you run too hard, you may even injure yourself. It ain't worth none of that. You gonna get a medal at the end of the race regardless. Whether you finish in an hour and a half, whether you finish in 3.5 hours, you're gonna get a medal, you're gonna get a t-shirt, you're gonna get a hat, you're gonna get some food, regardless. So run your race. I had to learn to run my race. I think I got to about like mile 6 when I was really in my bag. I got locked in and I said, this is the pace I'm gonna hold. There were other people who actually, during the race, they would stop to get water, they would stop to use a porta potty. And there's also other people who literally just walked. They just had to stop and walk for a little bit. I said I'm gonna maintain a pace where I will not stop running no matter what. I didn't pee during the race because porta potties, ugh. And then even drinking. I trained without drinking water while running. I only had my block chews while running, which if you actually read the package, it actually says for every block chew you eat, you should also take it with some water. I didn't care. I didn't care. During the race, I stopped at the first 2 water stations where I just got it and kept running. It was so difficult. I felt like I was drowning. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna stick to what I knew. My body understood running without water. And I just had the block chews and I was good. I was good. But make sure that when you with a whole bunch of other people, don't get distracted by everybody else's pace because it's easy to do, and that can lead to you getting fatigued way too early. I thoroughly enjoyed running. I genuinely enjoyed the whole half marathon process. All the training, all of the running in the rain, all of the running when I didn't feel like it, whether it was 6 in the morning or 6 in the evening, whether I'm just running for half an hour, I'm running for 2 hours. I enjoyed the process. And you know what's funny is that my wife and I, we enjoyed it so much where she's looking forward to doing half marathons twice a year, at least once a year. And I'm gonna sign up for my first full marathon. So I'm gonna take you on that journey as well. It's gonna be next spring, so spring 2025. It's gonna be in March 2025. So yeah, never in all my days have I ever run 26.2 miles straight. I've never done a full marathon before. So this should be very intriguing. My wife was like, nah, you good, you got it. I'll be over here doing half marathons and stuff, but I'll be cheering you on. I'll be there in moral support. But yeah, I'm gonna do a full marathon and I'm gonna see what that be like. I wanna see what that be like. So here's to running. Here's to community. Here's to physical fitness. Yeah.